I'm Florent Pasquier, associate professor in Sorbonne University, teacher of teachers.
I am holding a Krishnamurti retreat in the central France, and we have gathered here with around 25 friends, and we are exploring this topic of choiceless awareness. And I am glad that we met and we are going to explore some questions, because it is very interesting. You are related to young minds and you are also educating them to be an educator. So it's a very important work. So we thought that let us have a conversation, a dialogue.
I think I have the responsibility first to put this question, who am I to teach others how to teach? What are the impression I get and the circumstances and much of all identifications I could incarnate if I figure myself as solely a teacher whose role is teaching teachers.
Yeah, I think this is a very important profession. It is more than a profession, this teaching. And Krishnamurti used to say that educator needs to be educated first.
That's it.
If I am really in this process of self-education, then I am learning all the time. Then my life is a process of learning and also unlearning whatever is false. So to be a human, to be a complete human without any borders, without any frontiers, labels, is a great challenge on the planet Earth, because we have not learned how to be a complete human being. And this journey is, never ending in a deep sense. If I'm inquiring, exploring life, if my mind and heart is open, then learning begins. And there is an art of learning. How do we create this inquiry, this art? Because usually we teach what to learn, but we hardly teach how to learn. We are given, what to think. You think as an Indian or as a French or as an intellectual or as something else. But we are never asked what is this art of learning and how to learn and how to think. Can we think without any prejudice, without any bias? If I am tied to my background blindly, if I am identified with my background and driven by that conditioning, then I am not open. So the first step towards learning is to open oneself and to examine my limitations, how the mind is limited if it is tied to any particular reference point or particular conditioning. So can there be an awareness without judgment? And for this I feel the mind has to be really open and silent. And we can share this, the art of listening, how we listen to each other, because we don't know how to listen. We are always listening through a screen, through an image. We are always looking through an image, through any screen. So how to look without any conditioned center? If we can really create this inquiry, then it would be quite helpful for young minds, I feel. And it will be a big step towards being a complete human, not a divided, fragmentary human being. And this education is about whole of life. It is not just limited to certain subjects. Of course, we can learn the subjects and all that with that quality of attention. if we can learn that quality of attention, if we can understand how to really look and how to really listen, then that energy of attention can explore anything. There are no limits then. What do you find the challenges when you are teaching those young minds? What are the challenges you face?
It was exactly the question
Mhm.
I wanted to ask you. How to challenge the problems we have in order to be able to give such kind of transmission of to Krishnamurti messages. I'm exactly at the difficulty, which is how to combine the formal structure of institutions of education, which are very formal, classes of 20, 30, 35 young pupils, timeline with lessons every day. In France, it's not just the morning, but also the afternoon. And the pupils are very tired. How can we combine such message as enter in a state of consciousness where thoughts are still, in order to be in a true contact with nature, and then you can develop every kind of knowledge, as you said previously. How can we combine such position of attention, awareness, with the very basic constructions of the shape of the school? And in order that it's not just a conceptual learning, what we're talking about.
Yes.
Because if it's just the concept, it's still the mind and the thoughts. We should try to get the possibility to experience what we're talking about.
Yes.
So at school, this means getting small groups, maybe separated groups, and a special organization, and also to give the curiosity to the pupils, to give them the will to know more about what we are discovering together.
Yes.
And this, they can do it outside time of school by themselves. But it's not a very satisfaction for me, such kind of solution.
It's challenging to really ignite this flame of inquiry, but I see that young minds are really looking for something deep. Though they are easily distracted, but this thirst, this urge is there. If we are somehow able to connect with them and ask some deeper questions, very existential questions. What are your real problems in life? Real problems in life are problems in relationship, with a friend, with a partner. We have often conflicts, we have different views, opinions, and easily we get identified with what we are thinking, what opinions we are holding. And young minds are really quite vulnerable. They can be, shaped in any direction, so they easily catch opinions and ideas. But if we can put some very basic questions, like what is thinking? Is thinking absolute, or is thinking limited to its background? Very basic question. Just watch thinking. How does thinking happen? How does knowledge, gets created? How thought is connected with knowledge, and it is also connected with past memories. It has its place. And how the sense of identity is created. And this sense of identity is usually held by our thoughts, our ideas, our images. So can I really become free? Because freedom is the urge of every young mind or every human being. So what is that freedom? Is freedom to do whatever I want to do? Or is freedom something inward? Am I really free to think? This question, am I really free to think? And what does it mean to be really free to think? If I am tied to any conclusion, any particular idea, then I am not free because I am now limited to that particular idea. So is it possible to hold my opinions, my ideas, my beliefs more gently, not so rigidly? Otherwise, the mind stops learning. If it has committed to any ideology, then the danger is that I stop learning and I am only thinking according to that ideology. So then I learn about the thinking process, which is very strong in all of us. We all struggle to be free, but we are not aware what is binding us. So we can discover together in a dialogue with the students how strong is this thinking machinery and what it is made of. It is made of past memories, old memories, and they are quite helpful in our survival. But is that all in our life, or is there something deeper than that? Is there something behind or beyond this thinking process? How do we listen to each other deeply? Can I listen to another person without any image, without any prejudice? Then I am free to listen. Otherwise, I am not free to listen. So this question of freedom is very important. We can bring in our dialogues. What is real freedom? Am I free to look? Am I free to observe? These are very simple things we miss in our education because these are not discussed. And these are very basic existential questions. And if I really want to explore anything, there has to be a freedom. If there is no inner space, I cannot explore really deeply. And for that, mind also has to be still, quiet. How can the mind be quiet if all the time it is chattering? Because if I try to force the mind to be still, it will be another conflict. So is there a different way to be aware of this chattering of the mind without any suppression? So can I learn to look the activity of my own mind? And then a different kind of meditation can be introduced. It's not any meditation around belief or dogma, but a meditative way of communication, having a dialogue, a meditative looking, listening. This question becomes quite important in educational institutes. How to combine this freedom and discipline and responsibility. Discipline is not something to be forced. The word discipline comes from disciple. A mind which is learning is a disciplined mind. So it's not something controlled. And freedom goes with natural discipline, order and responsibility. And responsibility is not just duty which is enforced on oneself. The word responsibility is made up of two words, response and ability. My ability to respond. Because life is full of challenges. And how do I respond to those challenges? If my ability is limited, then my response will be limited. If there is a deeper dimension from which I can act, if there is a deeper understanding, then my response will be also deep and more wide.
Of course. Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, so there is a totally different way of looking at these words,
Exactly.
which are connected with freedom. And then we can ask, what is fear? Because fear and conflict, these are two central issues in all human beings. We are all struggling with that. What is fear? And how can we really look at our fears without getting afraid of them, you know?
May I ask a question which is linked to where we are now?
Yeah.
And another part of a previous discussion between to question the gap between what is it and what I would like to
Yes.
be.
Yes.
Krishnamurti said, because the observer is the observed, what I observe, I'm the creator. Said something like that. I create what I observe. That's why he suggests to erase the observer in order to erase the observed and to reach another level of comprehension and awareness. But this is my question. When we live in such degree of awareness and comprehension without the activity of the thoughts of the mind, it's perfect when you are in a meditational time, this special kind of activity, you take time for this and you can go in deep comprehensions. But when you come back in civilization, even in your kitchen or in your bathroom, of course, you experience overneeds. And now really is my question. If this world were the concrete world, the real world, where we are really living, is created by us, and we feel is bad, is sad, there is no beauty, there is no light, is it maybe because in my inner self I am like this? So should I have any possibility due to education, culture, attention, different practice, to change my inner bad values into good values in order that the world I see, I create it with my new beautiful values? This could help to still live in the real world with the beautiful aspects of my own humanity, and not just from time to time. Krishnamurti said, if you are 1 second only in this other state of mental, you should be very happy and don't ask for more, because you are still creating thoughts. So my proposition, could it make arise some different world which we would like prod, and that we would not like to change it because it will be already perfect?
We have to ask this question, that how and where we live usually. We usually live in the world of thoughts, in the world of images, in the world of dreams. And our whole consciousness is occupied by that. And all these activities of thoughts, they also create a sense of me, the identity, the observer. And we are living in this very confused world. Inwardly we are also confused because we are not looking at it, we are not aware of what is happening inside us. And this awareness does not depend on thoughts, on past memories. So there is a faculty in all of us, I feel, this faculty of attention, which is free from thoughts, which is free from past memories, which is free from the observer, the me, ego.
Okay.
Yeah.
Attention.
Yes, attention. So can we awaken that quality of attention within us by asking this question, am I really attentive? And for this attention, no past background is needed, no past knowledge is needed. It's just a deep listening to oneself, to other, a deep observation which is free from all the past baggage. And when this observer, which is created by thought, is silent, and it becomes naturally silent when we are deeply interested in learning. If I am deeply interested in talking with you and exploring a question, then mind is silent. It has a quality of stillness because there is a deep inquiry, deep sense of inquisitiveness. So I think we all have this capacity to be attentive, to be really silent, and perhaps we don't exercise this, and when we don't ask this question, what is real beauty? Beauty is everywhere. Beauty is inside and outside. And if mind is silent, is not so cluttered up by likes and dislikes of my background, then there is beauty everywhere. I can look at the tree, at the mountain, at another human being, at oneself, beyond my screen, beyond my fixed images about them. And this will also create great values, deep values in the society. If there is a beauty inside, if there is a quality of love, quality of compassion, and all these qualities, they come with this deep attention. When I learn to pay attention without any barrier, without any center, then all these qualities will develop, and human values will also develop. Yeah.
So, as a teacher, as a professor, if I work myself to enhance this ability of curiosity, observation, attention, to be really present with my pupils, with my classroom, maybe also with my colleagues, then myself, I became the living example of the idealizations I would like to transmit.
Yes.
And then it's maybe even a non-verbal
Communication happens.
Just your presence and what emerge invisibly from you is a teaching.
Yes, absolutely. That is the deepest teaching. What we are inwardly, that communicates. So, teacher is what we are. What we are, that teaches, that communicates, that shares.
What
we are.
And we teach what we are.
Yeah. If we are violent, we teach the violence. So the teachings are inside. If we are peaceful, we teach peace, even without words. Words can be used, of course. Words, they are beautiful mode of communication. But if there is a sense of stillness, peace and attention, then words will carry a different energy. Not the energy of aggression. So if I am inwardly not peaceful, aggressive, and if I am trying to teach non-violence, then it will not work.
Of course, that's impossible.
And especially young minds are very sensitive. They can catch the presence. Of course, we can all catch the presence if we are sensitive.
Specifically,
those.
young people.
That's why there is no need to put any ideals separately. Like you have to become this and that.
But
this becoming process itself is a block in transformation, in living that truth or that beauty.
I understand.
The real transformation begins, as J. Krishnamurti often says, by looking into what is, by exploring what is, whatever is the reality. If there is a violence inside me, if there is an aggression, that is the what is. So can I really look at it with a silent mind, without judging, without condemning, without justifying it, just simply looking at it and holding it with a sense of deep inquiry. Because our minds are not in a deep sense personal. It's a universal mind. It's a universal consciousness. So we become channel for that consciousness, those minds. It's a stream. So when I am examining my fear, my violence or my anger, it is actually not mine. It is the part of the whole consciousness. I can only explore it impersonally, if I am exploring it in the sense of, I am owning it, I am identified it, then it is very difficult. I will get into the trap of condemnation
Okay.
and all those
I
stories.
understand.
Then thought is active, and thought cannot explore deeply. It can explore in a limited way. For a deeper exploration, mind has to be still, in a state of non-judgment,
Non-comparison.
non-comparison, yes, and not trying to reach anywhere, and not even trying to end what it is experiencing. Then we are able to really look at it, and in that looking, there is a sense of freedom. Yeah. So can we really educate ourselves in that looking, in that attention? That would be wonderful.